all know that there are so many high profile people who have been accused of sexual assault, like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Woody Allen, all of them and there. However, there are still so many people who are comfortable with either working with them if they're in the entertainment industry or supporting their music and their movies or whatever it is that they create. So do you think that you should be able to separate the art from the artist, or do you think that we shouldn't engage with the work of people who have been accused of committing such serious crimes?
To be honest, I don't think that you can separate the art from the artist. I don't think you can. I think as artists, your work, your creativity, even if it's a small part, it's linked to your experiences, who you are, the person that you are. Like, that's part of where your art and creativity comes from. You're like, you can be inspired by other things, but still, it still comes from inside of you. So I don't think you can separate it. Now, you've named some big hitters. Let me focus on Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. Like, there's also the director Roman Polanski, and he is an Oscar winner, and he was accused of, well, no, he actually raped a young girl. He's admitted that he had sex with her, but she was underage. So he says sex, she's 13, it was rape. I'm not even going to get into that. So for me, it might be easy to say that I'm not going to engage with Roman Polanski's work because I don't really watch his films. I'm not a big fan of his. But let's say we're talking about Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. These are people who made music all through the years when I was growing up. Like, their music heavily influenced a lot of the the places that I went, where I heard music, when I went raving. And it's much more difficult for me to say I'm never going to engage because they're linked to memories. They weren't just random people to me. But it's difficult when you hear R. Kelly's music and he's talking about age ain't nothing but a number, because I'm just like, no, you meant that.
He really did.
You meant that. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sophie. Personally, for me, I believe like an artist's work is an extension of themselves. So it's hard for me to separate the two. It's difficult when it's an artist that you support and was like, that they were almost like a part of your everyday life. I don't know how to explain it. And then all of a sudden, you have to be like, oh. I mean, luckily for me, like, all the people we named were people who I was never particularly interested in. So for me to stop, like, listening to R. Kelly and I personally feel like I was too young for Michael Jackson and all these other people. Like, it was easy for me to just kind of separate myself from that. But it's like now for me, it's not even that sexual assault. It's when an artist does something that's just cruel to another human. I always have to sit there and look at myself and go, dang, can I still support them? And it's like, this is a little off topic, but similar to like, now we're looking at the situation of, you know, who shot Megan? Was it Tory? Like, when a Tory Lane song comes on in my playlist now, I just like hesitate. I'm like, oh my God, can I listen to this? Or is he a woman shooter? Like, I don't know. Like, I get so much guilt, and I just like, do you not have to stop until the issue is resolved? So that's the only thing that I take personal. It's hard. It's really hard.
Thing is, I love the angle that Anissa brought in, because that's what I was going to come with. You know, I think, obviously, I do not condone in any shape or form any of these disgusting acts. I just want to know, you know, should we just stop associating with criminals then? Because if you think about it, a lot of these, and I know you can't really compare rape to, say, a robbery or narcotic charges, etc. But even
better
things
rob that bank.
No, someone give me that shmoney. But you know, all of these crimes are crimes against people. Even people that are drug dealers, you know, the drugs that they are dealing are affecting communities. So then, should we just stop listening to the majority of the music industry? Should we stop watching the majority of film? Because if we research every single person, they have a history, you know, and we're going back, if even down to the early days of music, and some people that I can't even remember their names to name, they have, you know, criminal histories. So for me, I'm just like, I really don't know. A part of me wants to be able to separate the art and the artiste. You know, a part of me really wants to be able to do that. But I'm like, if I don't do that, then, you know, do I have any right listening to Tory Lanez? Should I cancel Ambush? Could I take him off my playlist? You know, he's been accused of certain things. And is it only the accused or the people that have been found guilty? Because where do we draw the line? So it's just such a tough question.
Girl, you're asking so many good questions. There's a lot. I'm like, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I do struggle with separating the art from the artist, but I also have no intention to start trying to. And there has been, I'm just gonna be
Fair
honest.
enough. Fair enough.
I'm the kind of person that when I like something, like a movie or a song, or so I want to know more. So I'm just not going to be doing that. It's just not going to be me. But I do think there have been celebrities who have done something that made me want to stop supporting them. But when this does happen, I'm always still open to them rectifying their mistakes. And when that happens, welcome them with open arms and stuff like that. I'll welcome you back into my spotlight.
Welcome the new album. Arms. Yes, I'm so thankful for the new album.
You know what I mean? I'm so thankful for a new person, but I think obviously because we mentioned, like you said, Sophie, like some hard hitters, these are like huge crimes. So for me, the worse the offense is, the more you need to redeem yourself. And obviously there are so many people who have no interest in doing that. They have no interest in learning and no interest in growing. So to answer what you said, Linda, I think for me, if someone has done something that I don't agree with, but they have gotten to the place where they've learned and they've grown and they're past it, I'm all for supporting them again and consuming their art. But there are people, let me just not even name names because I could I could go ranting, but there are people who no.
You look conflicted, girl.
But there are people who don't care. They know that they're hurting people and they don't care. So those kind of people are not going to maneuver their way through my headphones into my eardrums, because when I'm listening to your music, I'm just going to be thinking of you and what you did. So I have to just, for me, I can't enjoy it. I have to leave it there.
Yeah. Does circumstance ever change your mind? And what I'm about to say is because, like, taking it way back, but when the Chris Brown Rihanna thing happened, I was young and I know they were young and stuff, and obviously that was a big thing. But I can say now in 2020, I'll openly admit it, I listen to Chris Brown and I don't think it's a taboo. No one really like gives you the face when you go, oh, I listen to Chris Brown.
Everyone he's celebrated again.
Yeah, everyone listens to Chris Brown, and then I don't know if his situation got more acceptance because he was younger. So I'm thinking, does circumstance matter here? That's what I'm thinking. It's a question. Do you think circumstance matters?
I think it's really tough because I feel very conflicted about the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing. I don't really listen to Chris Brown's music, and I think I was part of that era when it was kind of like, should we, shouldn't we? But from my own personal experience, like I worked for the NHS, I had to do courses in violence and abuse, and we talked about domestic violence, and they said pretty much no domestic abuser can be rehabilitated. They will always remain violent. Yeah. Like it just doesn't happen. And I think that's what has made it so difficult for me with the Chris Brown situation, because if someone's done grand larceny or robbery or something like that, then I'm like, okay, they can be rehabilitated. But if what I was taught, that's why I'm all going to talk about the study that I went through when I worked for the NHS. If someone can't be rehabilitated and he still have those behaviors, like Karrueche Tran has come out and said, actually, she was physically hit by him. She has alleged that. For me, I'm just like, it's like, I don't know if he's working on that, because is it something he can even work on? And I think that's where it becomes so problematic. The reason why Chris Brown has been allowed to stay in the public consciousness is because he's still making people money. If he wasn't, then they'd cast him out. And I think that's the difficult thing. All these people, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, they've been making money for people, so they're fine with it. And then when Me Too came in and Harvey Weinstein was really blown up and not making money, then we're happy to discard him. So...
Yep. Sophie, you're absolutely right.
I think there's layers to that one, though, to be honest, in terms of the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation, because I don't just think it's about money, Sophie. I think there's a lot of privilege attached to him having abused her. And I say that because when I didn't watch the Surviving R. Kelly documentary because I was not planning on putting myself through that at all, but I did watch an interview with Chance the Rapper, who once worked with R. Kelly and said that he regrets it now. He said that we are like programmed to be paying attention more to like black male oppression. And so he saw R. Kelly as a victim. And there was an interview that Rihanna did with Gail, I think, where she ended her restraining order early because she was saying that she felt sorry for Chris. So there are circumstances that affect how well you're going to be able to progress in the industry, because I doubt that if it was like a woman who had beaten up a man, if she would still be so successful to this day.
Oh, I disagree with you there. I disagree with you there, Luanda. Do you know why? Your friend Megan Thee Stallion, she went on camera to say that she had an altercation with an ex-boyfriend when she found out that he was cheating. Your other friend Cardi B, who has said, you know, she went on. She also yeah, all three of your friends, all three of your friends, yeah. No, man, I ain't invited to that party. Even your friends, Cardi B. She's come out to say how she used to drug men and take their money. So I feel like if women had said that, you know, if it had been a woman, no, she would be probably more successful. Yeah, there would have been a way to spin it. I think no. I just think, oh my days. I think this question is just so, I can't. Every time I think I'm on a particular side, I feel like I'm switching sides because I think the fundamental is what Sophie said. Though I think it boils down to money, and I think if you think about society as a whole, not just the entertainment industry, the sports industry, finance industry, every single industry unfortunately has people that are wicked, you know, have people, and historically, you know, have people in empires who just do unthinkable things, but because they have power, they have influence, and they have wealth, they're able to get away with it. Otherwise we'd have to shut down half of humanity.
Yeah. And I think one of the issues for me is that the entertainment industry would rather keep working with people who are alleged abusers, and there's a lot of back history of examples and testimony stories, rather than looking for new talent. Like they say 5% of the people who want to make it in music make it, let alone whoever becomes successful directors. Like you can sing, but if you want to get to the level of Chris Brown, you can be a director, but if you're not going to get to the level of Woody Allen and to be able to pay your bills, but they would rather keep those people working because they're like, well, Woody Allen's a sure thing. Like, regardless of what he's alleged of, he's a sure thing. And finding someone else, I don't know, because R. Kelly and Michael Jackson are musical geniuses. No one can tell me nothing. They are musical geniuses, but they can't be the only ones. But people have wanted to rely on them because they're like, yeah, they're reliable. If you get R. Kelly on the track, it's gonna sell, whether he's writing it or producing it or whatever. So I think there's a lot of, not blame, there's a lot of responsibility that needs to go around into making sure people are held accountable.
Well, I think what you said is really interesting, Sophie, because you just said these guys are great, but they can't be the only ones that are great. And we know that for a fact because we all know people entering into the entertainment industry that are brilliant, but are not as exposed or not as recognized currently. I think that people don't want to practice mindful consumption. People are not motivated to like put their money where their mouth is or put their money where their streaming is, because we just want to have whatever we like and not think about it. And also because people don't think that they're powerful enough to make a difference. But every YouTube click, every click on a Spotify playlist, like it affects something, it affects someone. So I think that there is an ethical version of the thing that you want in this day and age. And this 2020, there is an ethical version of anything that you want, and you just have to try and find it and just bit by bit find different versions of the things that you want, instead of thinking grandly, like people be, oh, this is too much of a big task because there's so many things like my shopping, my clothes, my trainers. Just start one thing at a time and then we'll get there.
Because I think the thing is, as you're saying, Luanda, it comes down to self-sacrifice, and it's about whether we're willing to self-sacrifice our own comfort or my own childhood memories of R. Kelly growing up in his music and be like, actually, there's things that are more important. So, yeah, I agree with you.